if you've been involved in anything with regard to a listing presentation with me, you know, we've talked about when you first meet a seller, whether it be a for sale by owner, an expired, a cold call, a referral, whatever it is that when you first meet them, it can be a little bit awkward. And some of the things that you do in order to break the ice and the tension maybe that is there sometime in meeting someone new, and that's when you first meet them and you try to take control of a conversation in a nice way, obviously, and you want to get them to show you around their home. One of the things that we suggest, and there are different variations to this, is that when you first meet them, and after all the pleasantries are over, it's, would you mind showing me around your home as if I were a buyer? Would you mind showing me around your home as if I were a buyer? And they begin to show you their home, but before you proceed, hopefully you've got a pad or your C21 binder or whatever it is that you're going to use to take notes. You're going to take notes as you're previewing the home with them. Please ask them for permission before you do that, because if you don't ask for permission and you're taking notes, what do they think? That you're not listening and you don't care. So ask for permission, then they know what you're doing. Okay? And it's the who, what, why, where, when, and how. Why are you selling? Where are you moving? When do you want to move? How soon do you want to move? Are you looking for another home? How do you plan to do this? How do you plan to do that? All the different questions that you might ask them as you're previewing the home. And you get all of that out of the way, more or less, before you actually sit down with them at the table.
So you do that after they've shown you the home?
No.
Oh, during, while you're having a conversation, okay?
Exactly, just having a conversation. They're showing you around. Now let's go back to something. Would you mind showing me around your home as if I were a buyer? What happens when you do that? They walk you into the kitchen, or they walk you into the bathroom. And I have to ask you all a question. Have you ever been in a kitchen or a bathroom where you didn't know where you were?
No.
Okay, so what happens, and this is what I'm hoping happens, and I believe it does happen quite a bit, especially with a for sale by owner. Oh, well, this is the kitchen. Well, but you knew that. And they start to have the feeling that I don't want to do this job. That's exactly what we want them to feel, because we're there to do that job for them. Okay? Everything that we move through in this presentation is setting the next thing up. That's why we put together presentations. I've got Daniel's presentation here with me, okay, which is probably one of the worst I've ever seen. No. It's one of the best that I've seen, and part of the reason that it is, it's precise, it's to the point. He did use a lot of the C21 listing presentation materials. He used a lot of yours truly's personal stuff that I've used for over 40 years, and he combined it all, and it's very simple. And you can see how thin it is. Okay, this is how many pages?
A 16-20 maybe?
No, it's not, it's 12.
Oh,
See, he knows his presentation inside out. No. But Daniel's got, he told me he's got 40 hours into this, putting it together. Okay? I think Becky's probably got the same amount of time in hers, but that's what it takes to put together a listing presentation to make it work. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So now we're in the home. We've been through the home, who, what, why, where, when, and how. And I'm sitting down with Mr. and Mrs.
Kaplan.
Casey and Henry. Because we've developed that rapport.
Okay.
But I appreciate the opportunity to be here this evening.
Welcome to our home. We thank you for coming.
And I'm looking forward to moving forward and helping you move as quickly as possible.
We're excited.
Very.
She's expecting. We're moving, man.
We need more room. Twins!
they're expecting.
I thought it was triplets. Well, that's good. So you're expanding your family.
Definitely.
How many children do you have now?
3.
So we have two.
That's a lot.
We have 5 total. So we definitely.
We got to get on the serious question.
We're running out of room, we're running out of room. Yeah.
You're running out of room. Okay, so we're gonna see about making sure that you move to a home that accommodate your expanded family.
True.
Before we get started, I have a question for you. And I know that you're probably considering, if you already haven't, speaking with other agents. Is that true?
Yes,
We've already talked to one
right, and then one more after
tomorrow.
Okay. Do you already have an appointment with the other one?
that.
Let's see. Okay. How did it go with the first one?
She was okay. She was like a mess.
Yeah.
She was like, first impressions were not good.
Okay.
But she does a lot of business in our neighborhood, so we felt obligated to meet her.
Right.
I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, yeah. But, you know what? Let's see what you have to say. I mean, really, I mean, she has some interesting points about pricing and compensation. And so, we know we need to at least interview at least two more.
Okay. Let me ask you this. What are the three most important factors in you choosing a real estate agent? If you wouldn't mind, how about sharing those with me?
Of course. You think that's a good first choice?
Yeah.
And what about this second one?
Very important.
Yeah. I would put what you and I discussed, right?
Yeah,
Okay. And then that
Oh, yeah.
our neighbor,
right.
be that agent that list and ran.
Yeah.
And never heard from you.
Then answer the
Anything
phone.
else you can think of?
No, I think that's good.
Alright.
Okay. So what you're looking for is someone that's going to be honest with you about everything that we talked about, correct?
Definitely.
Okay, and as a result of the honesty, the trustworthiness will come through.
Yeah. And high integrity also.
Okay.
We've seen horrible, you guys are like one step above below a car salesman.
Yeah, there's so many realtors out there.
You're not including me in that, are you?
Oh, we don't know yet. We'll make that decision later.
Okay, good. I'm hoping that you don't include me in that,
Yeah.
especially after we're finished.
We know other realtors and, it's just, they're not all the same, but our experience hasn't been that good. This house,
Yeah.
we didn't call that other realtor back.
Right, no, we never really.
Yeah, no way.
Horror story.
And I see the other thing, a couple of things that you have is that you want good communication.
Definitely.
And what does that mean to you?
Well, first of all, you'll never get me, ever. And just, I'm really busy, so you have to text Casey, because she's really much better at texting. If you need me, if she needs me, she'll probably call me and I'll call you, but she would definitely be the communicator. But keep us both in the loop. And again, texting first, possibly calling me, but if you email us, you may not. You probably go to Star Spirit.
You don't mind that the day that we have someone that wants to buy your home that I call both of you?
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, we
right
would
there.
find out.
Right,
But we
so-
want to know what's going on. We want to, you know what I mean?
And then when we had our last house, the realtor just never called us. I mean, we didn't know. We had showings and
Right.
we had to chase her. For
Yeah,
feedback.
don't follow us at all.
And,
Yeah, we have no idea what
we don't want to have to ask for that. And we're looking for somebody we really proactive.
Let me share with you how that works as far as the showings are concerned. Most of the time, I will not be the realtor showing a buyer your home. So I would rely on the other realtors to give me feedback, and then I would feed that back to you and communicate with you. Sometimes other realtors, and you've mentioned that all realtors are not the same, I don't do this, but sometimes realtors don't call you back and give you the feedback that's necessary that you're looking for. I will do everything I can to follow up with it to obtain the feedback. If I get it, I'm going to call you and discuss it with you. If I don't get it, I'm going to call you and I'm going to let you know that I haven't received it. But when I do, I will get with you.
Call her.
Okay?
Yeah.
And
And I don't want to have to call you. I want you to be the one calling me.
you know, if you get to the point where you feel like you need to call me names.
Oh, also, if we do call, if the times we may call you, are you the type of person that answers your phone? because that really
Yeah.
bothers us. I mean, we answer our phone
Right,
all day long.
right.
And so we're looking for somebody that's not constantly going to get to their voicemail and leave a
Or their
message.
voicemail's full.
Yeah, and then wait a few hours and nothing, and then wait to the later on in the day. That's just not the kind of realtor. We're looking for somebody to be proactive, communicative, and just a professional.
Proactive and communicative, yes. Answer my phone every time? No, that's an impossibility. And let me give you an example. I have my phone and I put it up there and I put it on silent. You're important to me, as most of the customers and clients that I have. And what I don't do is interrupt their business by taking a call in the middle of it. So I will get back with you, no problem. But I'm not going to answer the phone while I'm doing business with you. This is important to me.
That's fair.
Okay, good. So we're pretty much on the same page at this point, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing that you mentioned, we're going to address later on when we get to the pricing issue, and that is the commission. Okay, we are going to talk about that.
I mean, that's pretty good. We're looking for somebody that will give us a 4% commission. That's something we've talked about. We know our numbers, done our homework, and know that there are plenty of realtors out there that will discount their commission. And we want to know if that's something you're going to consider.
We are going to talk about that when we get to it, no problem. But let me ask you this before we move forward. What's most important to you? Is it the bottom line that you'll walk out of a closing with in your pocket? Or is the commission more important than that?
What do you think, though?
Well, I mean, we want to get the most that we can, so
Absolutely.
that we can,
But does it make sense that the lower the commission, the more we'll get? So I feel like they're always tied together.
In some respects, yes. And as we move forward and we discuss the services that I'm going to provide, we can talk about the services that you'll get for what it is that they charge versus maybe some of the other realtors. Let me ask you this while we're on that. The previous realtor that you had here, was she a discount realtor?
She said she would consider a lower commission under certain circumstances.
Okay.
And so we're not exactly sure if she'll take the 4%.
right.
We have an indication that she's flexible with us, but she didn't say yes to that yet.
Right.
So we're
But didn't Bill and Nancy down the street because they have that realtor?
yeah, and she ended up taking like 4.5% or something like that. So, I mean, that's with that kind of discount.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about what your objectives are. You want to get the maximum price, which, as you just said, Mrs. Kaplan. I knew that we were both going to laugh on this one.
Casey Campbell, I mean, come on, that makes sense.
KK.
Oh, my middle initial's K too.
Let's not go there.
This is on tape.
It's all good.
Okay, it's Friday. So you want the maximum price, which directly ties in to what it is that you'll net.
Well, we know that we probably have the nicest house in the block.
Oh, yeah.
And she's a professional decorator by trade, and I spent a ton of money. She spent a ton of my money. This house is picture perfect. And so,
It is.
yeah, so I have to tell you that we're expecting, and the other realtor gave us a really good price.
Okay.
So
Well, and we've seen the other ones that have sold it. I mean,
we have
way more.
we have the free-form pool, we've got the hot tub,
Yeah.
we've got the tennis court in the back, so we're expecting like what, 1.2?
And let me ask you this. I'm sure that you're like a lot of the sellers that I have the opportunity to help them sell their home, and you've just now given me an indication as to what you're looking for your home. Is that figure what you're looking for?
Is that range, right?
Yeah.
That would make us,
I mean, nothing less than $1 million. for
yeah.
sure.
Okay. So you're talking between $1 million and $1.2 million?
But we want to start there.
Right, yeah.
And, we'll negotiate if we have to. It really depends on, if they're paying cash, what kind of terms they bring to us, so.
Let me ask you, when is the baby due? Are the babies?
The babies are due December 1st.
Okay, so your timeline is as far as the shortest possible time frame.
Well, we're not necessarily super short right now because we still have some time. I mean, it's only May. And so we're looking at some months from now. So we
I
figured.
don't really.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to get moved before
Yeah,
the babies come.
yeah.
So that shortens the timeline by how much?
At least 60 days.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're talking October. So we're in May to October.
Yeah.
You know, we've got time, but we have to make sure that it's priced right.
We know that houses, our price range do take longer to sell. Is that, do you agree with something like
Yeah,
that?
oh, of course, they do. They take a little bit longer, they take more marketing effort. And to get the job done right, we've got to put it on the market at the right price to begin with.
Yeah.
That makes sense now, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, getting it priced close, priced right.
But don't people usually price high based off of what they want to?
Yeah, start at 1.9.
My child back there is misbehaving. She might get a timeout.
Yeah, you could do that, but I'll tell you what.
Well, we know the highest sale it was 1,125. So we thought ours is nicer, and so let's just go for like $75,000 more. And maybe I'll see. Hold out in the beginning, see what kind of activity we get. Maybe we'll get multiple shows and multiple offers, and who knows? Maybe we can make more. And so with the ambition, I know that yeah. Go ahead.
We're going to take a look at the market analysis that I prepared, which shows your home in comparison with what's going on in the market. In
It's only
fact,
over 6.
but it's what?
It's only over 600.
I'm telling you.
I should have said
You are fired.
no comments from the peanut gallery.
At the end, you'll have an opportunity.
It's okay. When we get to the pricing, there are only two ways to price a property, and both of them start with an S. The first one is to, the second one is to, the first one is to sit, the other one is to sell. Okay, and what happens is if you price it to sell within a reasonable range of what today's market says, you're going to sell it, you're going to be moved by the time the twins come. If you price it too high, you're probably going to sit, and ultimately that's going to cost you money as a result of
And
sitting.
aggravation, because if we don't move before this, it's going to be a
Right.
disaster.
That's the other thing, the fewest potential issues and problems. You can have a lot of problems if you price it too high, including the possibility of having to take less in the long run. Because it sits on the market, sits on the market, sits on the market. The other realtors feel, oh my gosh, what's wrong with it? Once we put up a sign and buyers are coming by, if the sign's up there for a long period of time, what would you say if you were a buyer?
Something's wrong with the house.
Yeah.
Still,
Okay.
is it true that we've heard that the first offer is usually your best offer?
Absolutely. And I'm hoping that your first offer is your last one as well.
I mean, we think people, like, when we go out, we're not going to make a great offer. Like, we're going to start low. But, so we're assuming that it's not necessarily that low offer we're going to take for the first real buyer. Is that right?
See, that's what you've got me for, is to help you negotiate through that pricing, negotiate through the transaction, and get the transaction closed. I'm here to help you negotiate the highest possible price for your home. But we've got to price it right to sell. Does that make sense? Okay. The whole thing about it is that selling your home is a business decision.
What do you mean by that?
It's about your money. That's what I'm here for, to get you the maximum amount of money in closing as I possibly can.
So we need to take the emotion away from it, is that what you're saying?
Well, I was going to get to that, but I think that you're very astute in realizing that when you bought this home, you probably bought it by comparison with a number of other homes. Am I right in assuming that?
We looked at
A lot.
How many did you look at?
like 50.
Yeah.
50?
Close either.
Wow, that must have been very emotional. You weren't expecting it at the time, were you?
Yeah, she was actually.
She likes it when I'm pregnant.
So,
Are we trying to say we're emotional?
So we, and that was with two realtors, also, the first realtor. disappeared on us and
Yeah.
gave up, and then the other one came along and worked out okay, but
See, we want to take the same emotion that you put into this to buy it. We want to make sure that you realize that the emotion that you have of living in this home with your family, raising the children that you now have, possibly bringing your new children here, that it's very hard to market. You can't put a price on it. And the situation is that you've got to look at it as your bottom line. And Mrs. Kaplan, you said already, I want to get as much money as possible. That's the only way to do it. Buyers are going to come in and they're going to be very emotional about your home. Hopefully, they're going to have more emotion about this home, the lifestyle features that it has, what it's going to cost as far as the lifestyle for their children. Because another family's going to come in here, there's no doubt about it. And the situation is that their emotion is what's going to get you the best price, not your emotion getting you the best price.
that makes sense to us, yeah.
Okay, so now we're at a point where if we do compare your home with market analysis, we've got recently sold properties. Recently sold properties are a clear indication of what buyers are willing to pay for similar homes to yours in today's marketplace. The second one are presently on the market. That's your competition.
We don't have any competition. I mean, we definitely know our house is the nicest.
Right.
And, that other house in the corner has been on the market for like 8 months, 8 months.
At what price?
They're at 1,000,001. Yeah, 1,000,005.
Have you seen that home?
We used to go to parties there,
Yeah.
but we're not friends with them anymore.
No.
Yeah. Their kids are 9, so we just keep our kids away. But it was a nice house. It had some updates. We heard there was some of the contractors working on it, so I looked at the pictures on Realtor.com, and so it's a nice house. We don't like their backyard is a lot smaller than ours. They don't have to move to the tennis court. We have the tennis court, and so it's been sitting out there. I don't think anything's happening. I know they started at 1.3, and now they're at 1.150. So we're realistic, but I guess it's hard. It's hard to know for sure until it sells.
Would you say that they have a pricing issue?
Definitely.
Okay, and it goes back to what I said, they've come down from $1,003,000 to $1,150,000. So already, in their mind, they've dropped to $150,000.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
I don't want you to do that either. We want to price it and get you moved. They decided to sit, you want to sell, correct?
Definitely.
Okay. So we're gonna compare it with presently on the market. Square footage is an extremely important component of that, which we'll get to. Currently under contract, there are properties that have sold in your area recently that are under contract. They have not yet closed. I don't know the prices. It's
Is there
something
a way
that's
to
not
find that
disclosed. Other than maybe asking the realtor who has the listing on it, and I did call a couple of them, I know them, but they said no. And it's very difficult to get. Now, if you know the owners, you'd have to knock on their door and find out. But I don't think they're gonna tell you
Yeah,
the truth.
Susan's under contract, and she's closing June 10th, so her house is nice, close to comparable, different exposure. Her pool's really nice.
Yeah.
So it may be a good comparable, but we won't, maybe you can call her and see if she'll give you a little indication.
We're gonna take
I heard that buyers are liars and sellers sometimes are even worse, so who knows if she'll be.
Right, absolutely, yeah.
Present company,
Ah.
present company excluded, of course. And the other thing is we're gonna take a look at the expired listings. Expired listings are those properties that have been on the market for a period of time where they've sat and sat and sat, and they did not sell, which is a clear indication of what buyers are not willing to pay in today's market.
Yeah, we don't want that to happen. A realtor we choose has to be the agent that gets the job done. Bottom line, we don't want to hear excuses. We don't want you beating us up for, we're gonna come down the price, we're gonna come down the price. We don't want to deal with any of that. We've been through that, it doesn't work for us. We want somebody that's confident, that's aggressive, that communicates, and knows how to bring it from the day we meet till close in and probably beyond. Because, I'm selling my building, in the office building, and I'm looking for a realtor for that. I've got another property I may consider, so, you want to work hard and smart and communicate and give us that discount.
Let me ask you a question, both of you. If we can agree upon a price and terms in which to position your home in today's marketplace to attract the greatest number of buyers and achieve your goals, is there any reason you wouldn't list with me tonight?
Oh, we have that other.
Right, we already have another.
I understand. I would be more than happy to call that other realtor and let her know. It is the lady you said.
Yeah.
I let her know that you've chosen me as your realtor to help market your home, and that I would be more than happy to cooperate a sale with her if she has a buyer.
Well, let's tell them the truth. The other realtor is her cousin.
Yeah.
And, we're not that we're obligated to use her because she's a part-time agent, but she's a cousin and we see her like 6 times, 8 times a year. So it's going to be a difficult decision to make. Yeah.
So what are you going to expect from her that you wouldn't expect from me, being that she's family?
She'll probably do as good a job.
Right.
Honestly, we know that already.
So you're willing to take less than the best?
I mean, she's probably going to take the 4% commission. So we don't save some money. We'll probably have to do some of the negotiating ourselves and work ourselves and maybe showing because she does nails during the day. And so, but with that said, if we can save money and we can work with that situation, there's a good chance that we may give it to her. We want to be totally sure, and you've cast some doubt, I think, in our mind, that she may be that person.
Yeah.
But keep going, but we want to be transparent with you and tell you that's.
And I appreciate that.
And to cancel on her would be really bad. We're probably gonna have to sit with her.
Really sit with her, right.
Well, I have a solution to that problem, and you're indicating that you're less likely to list with her because of some of the things that you mentioned.
You're obligated to her.
Right, you are not.
She's a nice person and she's your relative,
Right.
but this is a big business decision.
And it is business, correct?
And I consider that page valid, business decision, and our motion aside, and relationships aside, I don't want to put our greatest investment in somebody's hands that's not the most qualified. And you've been doing this business for a long time, apparently. And
More years than your missus is old.
no. And so we're constantly, we're not battling over that, it's bad talk.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, let me go back to something real quick. It appears, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, it appears that you're highly unlikely to choose her as your realtor.
I would say it's 50-50 right now.
Okay? Because I have a solution to it. I know your obligation that you need to talk to.
Talk to us, tell us.
Okay. Is that I would be willing to have you go ahead and hire me tonight. Okay? Go ahead and talk to her. Hire me tonight, talk to her tomorrow night. Okay? If there's any inkling that you would consider the possibility of going with her, we can do one of two things. I'll either tear up our contract, or to pacify the situation, make sure that you don't have a family feud, I'll pay her a referral fee.
Wow. So how involved will she be?
Not at all.
And she'll get compensated for
Correct.
being her relative.
Correct. And if she wants to really jump into the real estate business, we can make her a team member at my company.
Who knows? That's an option for the town. That's pretty generous.
Okay?
Yeah.
Sounds something that might be palatable.
I mean, I don't know about the hiring you part yet, but I like the idea of maybe you can compensate her. Just,
Well, obviously, you gotta hire me to get me to
yeah, of course.
compensate.
That way, she won't feel like we slighted her.
Right.
And it's probably a chunk of change that she would make just because of having a relationship and a license. So,
Yeah.
interesting. Well, we appreciate it.
Probably be a few bucks more than she's making doing nails right now.
Yeah, let's probably take a week off and do that.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the commission. How important is that to you?
Well, look, we figured 1.2, right? 1.2 million. 1% represents 24,000 like that.
Right.
that's like halfway to getting us in a small pool.
Right.
If with the house doesn't happen.
Let's talk about your net just for a minute. You have how many mortgages on the property?
One mortgage,
Yeah.
For how much?
we have saved and paid, and we have a $400,000 mortgage balance.
$400,000.
Plus Tenace.
Okay. So let me do some quick figures for you, and let's see
Great.
where you want to be.
So you're gonna kind of give us an idea of what we're gonna walk away
What you're
with.
gonna walk away
See,
with.
the other agent didn't do that
No,
yesterday.
not at
She
all.
wasn't, she didn't talk about that.
No.
Okay. I want you to know, based upon the price that you're setting, which incidentally, it's gonna be a pleasure working with you, because I can tell you that my market analysis is right on to where your thoughts are. Okay, so it's gonna be a pleasure working with a couple who knows what's going on in today's market.
Yeah, she's on the computer all day long.
Yeah. I don't do that stuff all day.
She should do that. Maybe after this.
Okay, so we'll start at $1.2 million, and we'll figure minus all the expenses, including the commission, as to what you'll net. Okay? So take a look at this bottom line and see how that looks to you.
Let me just
Let's take a look at the bottom line.
Okay, so I see that number.
How does that look to you?
I mean, it looks good, but considering our small mortgage, let me start from the top one. Right, one, but that's 6%. And we're really looking to pay 4%. I mean, would you take it for 4%?
No. And let me share with you why I won't. Is you're talking about the difference in service and effort. And let me share with you real quick. You're looking for effort, my effort, in market-based home
No less
success.
than 100%, and that says 121%.
Right. And I've got service here of the same thing,
Same thing, over
Okay.
120. Why 121%?
because Century 21 is over and above everyone else. Okay? And that takes 6% to get there.
Okay.
If you want to reduce it down to 4, I'm going to suggest to you that anyone willing to take it at 4% would cut their service and their effort. They wouldn't do the right job for you. This, very quickly, is 183 things that realtors do in a transaction. Most of the realtors who would take 4% are probably going to ask you to do as I would right now. Just go ahead through there very quickly and highlight the things that you wouldn't want me to do for you in the marketing and the sale and the closing of your home.
There are 8 pages with 183 things, and you're asking us to go through this and decide what you're not going to do for us?
Right. What you don't want me to do, I do everything that's on that paper.
Oh, she didn't talk about that either.
No. Just leave it all, I think.
It can be very overwhelming, you know, a real estate.
Honestly, we're not gonna want you to we're not gonna want anything. We're gonna want 121%,
Right.
for sure.
So what it takes for me to do that, and I may not be the man for the job, but it takes
Well, I
a
appreciate
6% brokerage fee to do
I
that.
appreciate you admitting that, and you may not be the agent for us either, but I mean, how about, I noticed that there's a 5% commission on here, and you have an 84% service and 84% effort. Well, we really just expect 100% effort,
Right.
honestly. So would you take 5% and give us your 100% effort?
I'll tell you what I'd be willing to do. If you'll make a decision tonight to hire me, I'll take it at 6. If I sell it myself, I'll do it for 5.
What's the chance
Would
of
that be true?
Well, what's the chance to actually sell yourself?
It's not real high. That would be a very big bonus for me. But
Right?
I want you to know that for the most part, over 80% of the properties that sell in our marketplace, they sell as a result of cooperation between one realtor and another.
And tell me, if whatever price we list at, whatever commission we pay you, what percentage will you be paying your cousin typically?
I will pay her a 25% referral based upon what I make.
So, what do you make?
Let's
Well,
try-
he makes more than she makes.
Yeah, that's true, but Like if you list at 6%,
Let's just put the figures down. 6% if it sells for full price is $36,000.
No, that's a lot of money.
25% of that is $9,000 that would go to your cousin. Do you think that would keep the family happy?
so if you sell it yourself, you said you charge 5%, so that would be 30,000. And you're gonna give her 25% of that?
I would give her 25% of what we make. No, only on the listing side, I'm
All
sorry.
right, okay.
And then up to 36,000.
All right, so that'd be $18,000 for your company and $18,000 for the company that brings the buyer?
No, what I'm saying is that this is only half of the commission at this point.
I'm sorry, 3% of 132.
3%, right?
That's 36,000, okay. So she would get 25% of that.
$9,000.
So wait a minute, how much of a commission are we paying? 6% of 1.2 is $72,000.
Great.
You didn't tell me it was $70,000. You're the number person in the family.
Well, again, we get back to something that's extremely important. How does the net look to you?
See, that number, just, I don't know, I mean, with all these other figures, we have to pay for the real estate commissions, we have to pay for the transfer taxes, we
You're
have
gonna
to
have to
pay
pay
owner's
owner's
title.
anyway. Sure.
We know we have no title, we have to pay owner's title insurance, you know we have to,
Right.
this is my obligation.
Customary, yes.
Customary.
Let me ask you this. At this point, discussing the service and the effort, would you want to do it for any less?
We know about agents that have done less than, we had, just one thing really important. Just whatever you say you're gonna do it. Never offer anything less than that, because we don't wanna hear excuses. And so, you're saying all the right things, honestly, you are, but it's hard to swallow, $72,000.
You know, the thing about it, I'll bet you there was a time in your life when you didn't expect to live in $1,200,000 home, am I right?
Well, she's from money, so, yeah, so, but it's not unlimited as well, but her parents helped us a lot with the down payment, they gave this to us, so we don't have to pay that back, but, we're living pretty nice,
And you know, you are living a good lifestyle, you want the best, and I'm here.
Yes, okay.
Well, we need to keep living that way, so
Yeah.
we're not.
Yeah, what about if we just agree to 5%?
What if we agree to the 6% and I'll take 5 if I sell it myself?
Well,
I'll tell you what, part of what you want me to do for you is negotiate, correct?
definitely,
Okay? What we're doing right now is negotiating, right?
we are.
Okay. If I can't negotiate for me, do you really want me negotiating for you?
That's a good point. Yeah, interesting. Nobody's ever said that. What was that again?
Check the video later.
If you can't negotiate for yourself, then how can you possibly negotiate for us?
That's why I'm paid what I'm paid. And obviously, if you were happy with what the realtor said before me, I probably wouldn't be here right now.
Probably correct. If she had looked better,
Stop
she was a mess. And the cases were a mess.
She didn't even look at the house.
She was 30 minutes late too.
This is not personal to her as business. As I said, selling your home is a business decision.
Yeah.
That's what you get for 4%.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, we probably never would have listed. We were probably going to go with your cousin. But your cousin's going to make like $9,000 from just this guy paying her.
And she doesn't even have to show up for that, because you can cancel your appointment
Yeah.
in good conscience and tell her, look, I'm giving you $9,000 for not showing up to the appointment.
That's more than I've ever gotten for that.
Yeah, we're doing nothing.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow. It gives us something to think about.
yeah.
What else are you thinking about? Are you ready to get started?
She's the decision maker. Do you feel pressured? If you feel pressured, we can sleep on it.
You feel pressure?
That's a big decision.
Let me ask you this. It is a big decision. Are you feeling any pressure?
I mean, I like you. He's a cool guy. I don't have no doubt that you get the job done. Just that we didn't think we would be meeting your cousin.
Right.
Can we get back to you after we meet with her?
You could, but it's in your best interest to get started, especially since I'm willing to pay her $9,000 today. That might come off the table tomorrow.
Can you step outside?
Sharp.
Can you step outside and tell her what we want to do and see if she's okay with this? I just don't want to. While my wife is out, I really like you, but she's
Not too much, I don't know.
No, it's okay. She has to be convinced, because if she's not convinced this will work, I will never hear the end of this. And I've been married long enough to know that she needs to be happy.
Let me ask you this, is there any doubt in your mind that it's gonna work?
She'll answer that. But
She
she's,
can't talk, she doesn't a nail person here.
That means it's in your home.
so let's do this. Let's leave us the paperwork, and then we'll talk to her tonight, and you can call us in the morning.
How about let's do this? I'll give you one better, okay? How about we execute all paperwork this evening? And you're gonna be speaking with her when?
No later than tomorrow morning. I mean, if she can't get back to you by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, she's not a professional.
All right.
Realistic.
I'll tell you what, we'll wait until noon.
Okay.
Let's execute all the paperwork. Go ahead and do that tonight. Tomorrow's Monday morning. And if I don't hear from you by noon, by 12:01, it will be on the multiple listing service.
Is that quick?
Yes, it
What
will.
about the pictures?
Okay? We're going to use some pictures that I've already taken exteriorly, but I'm going to bring in a professional photographer within the next few days as well. I've already arranged for that, by the way. Is Wednesday good for you?
I think so.
I don't even have those drone shots too. We're gonna get that?
The drone, the aerials, everything. $1 million to home deserves all of that, and that's part of the services that I provide and the effort that I'm going to give you for what I
We have some drone shots
pay.
from that old photographer that took it,
When we have the tennis court.
Yeah, we have it.
You know, I'd like to look at them, but I'm going to incur the expense of a professional photographer for your home, and I want to make sure that the right photos at the right time.
What happens if I go to sleep tonight and have nightmares and decide I can't do this any tomorrow?
Call me and I'll
I
tear
can't
it. Call me
do
and
it?
I'll tear it out.
That's right.
Okay, so you ready to get started?
It's her decision.
I think so.
We're done.
Thank you.
I heard what you said,
What?
that we didn't talk about showings and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, leave that on. I forgot to ask somebody to count the number of times that I asked questions and the number of times that I closed. Okay, did anybody get a feel for that? Okay. When we did this in the new agent training, 3 weeks ago, I asked for those things to be counted. I think you were there, Becky was there. You were one of the counters, weren't you? And it was 38 times I asked questions, and 9 times I closed. Okay? There were a couple of times when I was trying to close, but Mr. Seller was talking a little bit too much, and I just let him go on. But, the whole thing about it is that we know what the so-called meat and potatoes are when we get to this. It's about pricing, and I let it go in that direction. I kind of steered it in that direction because he put the 4% commission on there as well. What questions do you have at this point before we get into this? Yeah.
What if they had the objection, like, why does the referral have to come off of the table tomorrow? Why?
Because my offer was only as good, it was only good tonight. That would have been my answer.
You have to put a timeline.
You have to put a time
Otherwise,
on
they don't
it.
put it out there. Never
Can't be open.
Yeah.
It's just a question.
Yeah.
I would ask it if I was.
It's going to force us to expedite our decision with her.
Yeah, I'm trying
I know
to,
why he's doing it, but I'm wondering, like, if you were to ask him that, how he would
Okay.
answer.
I'm not gonna leave it open forever and ever and ever. Not happening. Not me anyway.
Mhm.
Again, I'm suggesting the same thing to you. If you get a marriage proposal, and he says, let's think about this for the next 17 years.
Yeah.
3 years.
But see, and I'm a hard closer. I want you all to close better. You're not me, I'm not you.
Some people may feel like, I didn't feel like he was hard closing, although sometimes I would say, well, you're being a little aggressive, and his response would have been,
Yeah, if I was trying to draw them to give me that, they're just.
I usually say that, like, wow, you're being awfully aggressive.
And my answer to that is and always has been that, do you really believe that I'm being aggressive and assertive with you? And if they say yes, say, just imagine how assertive and aggressive I'm going to be with the buyer in getting this property sold and closed for you. That would work, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's great.
Are they gonna say, no, I don't want that? I don't think
We're
so.
awfully pushy, and however we would have responded, that's the come back, you want something like this.
And I've had that happen, okay? Like I've told everybody, I've made every mistake that there is, at least a dozen times. But, you get tired of being mashed, right?
Yeah, for real. Okay, how about?
We didn't do the pricing piece, we didn't do the pricing piece today, the
No.
comps.
If we
That's another
got
class.
into that, we'd be here for.
That's another class,
Till
so
then.
we're gonna come back to do, he's gonna go over the market analysis. You need to- I think the agents need to see you talking about sold, and I did this with an agent yesterday and the seller, and there's technique you use, talking about the solds, going over per square foot, making comparisons, that's a whole big conversation.
Today, he said to me, we're looking for around $1.2 million. I didn't even have to ask the question. They came up with that. I didn't ask the question. Had they not done that, I would have said to them, look, you're like most sellers that I have the opportunity to represent the sale of their home, which I did use that line. But it wasn't, I said, you have a figure in mind, would you mind sharing that with me? They had done that openly.
And sometimes they'll say to you, the seller will say, no, that's why we have you here.
Right.
Share that number with us.
And that brings up another issue, and it has to do with pricing. Do you want to, as I call it, dump your bucket on your CMA before they tell you what they're thinking? And it's kind of all right, let's haggle a little bit here before we do that.
And experience-wise, the sooner you give them a price, you're done.
Yeah.
You're done. They shut down. They don't want to banter. They want to talk. They want to get to know you. It's like they have this number in mind. If it's a good number, okay. If it's not, they've tuned you out completely. And she gets up, and I get up and start cleaning up the dishes, and I'm like,
We're out of control.
Yeah. So he kept putting us off on the price and the commission, putting it off, saving that for the end. Where
He put on here 4% commission. Okay, I saw it. He knew I saw it.
You didn't address it.
I didn't address it. I said, we'll address that when we get to it. If you address it now, okay, what happens?
They shut down.
Yeah, exactly. I want a fighting chance. And I'm a firm believer that two things. Number one, if you address it now, cut your wrist, you're gonna bleed out, and, you're done. Okay?
he made it through 3 pages.
The second thing,
And we had like a 45, 50-minute conversation in 3 pages. So it's not the presentation. It's not, well, it is. It's what he says more than what this says.
and if you noticed in the presentation, I turned back to I turned back to that 3 times. Okay? And I kept turning, because they're looking at it, I want them to continue to look at it.
Well, it gave you the opportunity, especially to bring this up, but to also explain, because I think a lot of people don't think that realtors do anything.
Correct.
Right?
Let me tell you, this is very powerful.
Yeah.
This is extremely powerful. Bonnie Nissenbaum, who's one of the top agents in this company, I was at the Point Beach meeting one morning, standing in the room with Henry, and we were talking. Bonnie came walking in prior to the meeting, and fire was coming out of her ears. She was so mad about something.
Well, because the realtors in our marketplace, like here, are taking 4% listings. Some of them are advertising 2%, so does those 2%.
Let's go one.
And she feels pressured by that she felt pressured by that to start negotiating. down from 5 to even lower.
Yeah,
And then as soon as this came out, she read through it all. She decided, you know what, she's gonna take this with a black Sharpie to every kitchen table and just say, you know what, if you want less than 100%, just tell me what I don't have to do for you. Go. Take the cap off, hand them the pen,
yeah.
go. And then the next one that talks loses.
She got what she got what she wanted.
Commissions back.
Okay,
And she negotiates, but not like she had to before. And 1% is a lot of money. 12. How easy is it for you to go from 6 to 5? You just gave away $12,000. We didn't talk about. We talked a little bit more about yesterday about the variable dual rate commission was 5%.
yeah.
You can do that, or you can give other things away that are not as expensive as that much. Like for example, free inspection. But that's because there may be some items that need work on the house, and the seller has to start paying for some money to do that, and maybe they don't even know what's wrong with the property. So there's a honey-do list out there that has to be done. Maybe it's say, hey, you do these type of things, and if you do this and it's in show condition, then I can work with you a little bit. They need to put their best foot forward. Maybe we throw a warranty on the property, because there are some things that may look older, may need work. Maybe we need to, maybe they get, like I said, the pre-inspection. That's going to cost them $350, $400 for an inspection doing before it's listed, while it's being listed, so they can find out what's wrong with the property before a buyer comes in with their inspector. Let's remove those variables. That's something we can reimburse them for at closing. Easy to reimburse them $350, and come down $12,000 on commission. Offer a fair trade. Hey, if you bring the pre-inspection in and deal with some variables, and we have a house that's ready to be sold and shown and sold and not have challenges during the buyer's inspection, yeah, I'll reimburse you for that at closing. I have my commission.
You know, they didn't go there as well, and I know Eric's comment, you know, they want $1.9 million and it's worth $1.2 million. Okay. I don't recall exactly what we were discussing when I said I may not be the realtor for you, I may not be the guy.
Yeah, don't be afraid to say that too.
Yeah.
That's powerful. Take away the opportunity when they are going ridiculous
Yeah,
places.
I'm not the guy for the job, because I don't believe the job can get done. And, you know, part of it is you've got to have chutzpah. You've got to have courage to say these things without fear of loss. You know?
My favorite, when you hear somebody wants overpriced and you know based on the comp, after you've gone over the comps with them, what they want, and it doesn't make sense.
What I want, what I need.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to say, then I'd like to be the second realtor. What's that? Well, at that price, if the first realtor gave you that price, go with them. Give them a 90-day listing, and don't give them a price reduction. See if they really get to the price. Because the dilemma we have every day in this business is, should I tell you what you want to hear and potentially lie to you, or should I just tell you the truth and risk not doing business with you?
See, and with regard to what he's saying, do they want you to tell them what they want to hear or the truth? If you do this up front and they tell you what they want, and then they start getting off base, and you say, do you want me to tell you the truth? You want me to be honest with you because that's what you told me. I'm being honest with you. Feed that back to them because they gave me that.
And I've never, in 35 years, until Jim showed me this about, I don't know, a year ago, never asked this in advance. I've never known. Mary Ann did this recently.
Marianne Corona, I think most of you have heard the story. I shared this with her a few weeks ago, and she had been calling past customers, and she called a guy who said, yeah, we want to sell our home, and his parting remark to her after she made an appointment with him was, by the way, we're interviewing 3 other realtors. Now, she's had a relationship with these people for 5 years, right? Been to the house. The lady is now wheelchair bound and everything, and cared for that and showed compassion, the whole business. But we're going to talk to 3 other realtors, and she was so frustrated when we were sitting together. And I said, you know what he's saying to you, don't you? And what was he saying to her? We're gonna talk to 3 other realtors. We know you, we like you, we love you, we know you can get the job, but we're gonna talk to 3 other realtors. What is he saying?
Less commission?
Bingo. Okay? And I said that to Mary Ann. She says, I think you're right. So I said, try this. Okay? So I said, casually call him back. You've got an appointment in a week. You've got plenty of time to prepare. I said, call him back and ask him this question. She did. The first thing he said to her was, somebody who will do it at a discount commission. Okay? Somebody who will make sure that we get my price. What's he saying there? That he's probably going to be overpriced. Okay, and somebody that'll take a 60 to 90 day listing and have a buyer that will rent it back to us for 2 months after the closing. Okay? She sent me the text, okay, of his answers. And I called her and I said, that's an easy one. No, 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 and no. And so I said, you've got plenty of time to prepare. So she went in and sat down with them. And she said, look, she says, based upon some of the things that you've told me that you're looking for, I'm not sure I'm the realtor for the job.
Within the first 5 minutes of the conversation, she didn't take it.
She took it away from him.
When I
And he went, whoa, wait a minute. So then she went one by one. Boom, 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 boom. When she got to the commission rate, she says, I charge 6%, and that's what I charge. He said, okay. Okay? And when he got to the listing of 60, she said, you want a 90-day listing? The average marketing time here is 97 days. He said, okay, we'll give you the time you need. Okay? She was prepared. And this, you may not be able to do it up front, but when you're making your calls to for sale by owners, and you're making your calls to expireds, and you're talking to people who may want to hire a realtor, say, what are you looking for in the realtor that you'll hire? Give me the 3 most important things. And let them tell you.
And that way you can come to us in advance and prepare.
You know, but anything that they say, short of being the ridiculous, as this guy was with Mary Ann, is you. I'm honest. I have integrity. I can't reach out. And I'm trustworthy. And I communicate well. Okay? Marikel in the Point Beach office. When she uses this, she said, and she's got a great line for it, one of the best I've ever heard, actually. When they give her this, she looks at it and goes, oh, have we met before? Because you know me so well. Oh, God, I love you. Have we met before? We know each other so well. You know, you've got to be loose, you've got to be creative. Don't be afraid, just say what's what. Most realtors, oh my God, as soon as they get pressure, what happens?
They succumb to the lower
I call them lettuce realtors. You know what lettuce does when it gets the heat? It wilts. Right. I'm not going to wilt. Okay, don't wilt. Hold out. I bet that you'll win more than you'll lose. But as soon as you say, oh yeah, I'll take 4% and stuff like that, good, maybe they're going to go to the next realtor and say, well, you do it for free. Okay, what are we doing here? Having an auction for commissions? Not me. Take it away from
And
me.
always use the variable rate dual rate agreement. If I list it and sell it myself,
Yeah,
I will just, that's really,
yeah, I agree with that.
one of my top agents has been using that for 30 years. And she does a lot of other side of deals in certain communities, so they'll hope that this kind of, realistically, it doesn't go down that way, but